Hello everybody, my name is Starrapter and welcome to the channel. This is week number 23 and the final week for War of the Bounty Hunters. This will be my recap for issues number 17 of Bounty Hunters as well as issue number 18 of Star Wars. So this event started all the way back in May and we are getting the conclusion this week, or well, really part 1 of 3 when you put in with the Crimson Reign series by Charles Soule as well as Hidden Empire written by Charles Soule. So getting into Bounty Hunters issue number 17, Last Stand. Last we left off with Valance. He was critically wounded in the pages of War of the Bounty Hunters number 5 by Boba Fett aboard the Executor. So he comes to, we think he's dead, but he's not quite dead, and he's fighting off literally like dozens of stormtroopers and scout troopers as well. He comes across this cadet that has a gun pointed at him. He has a heart-to-heart with this cadet saying, hey, I was in your shoes. I was at the Battle of Mimban with Han Solo, and then I got disgraced by the Empire. They left me for dead. It's not worth it with the Empire. Just as he's getting through to the cadet gets vented to space in an act to try to kill Valance. So basically, Valance gets away. He goes to the hangar bay where there's these jet troopers that you would see in A New Hope, which is pretty neat. And he gets one of their jets and flies into space to reconvene with Tonga and Zuckuss and Bosk and all these other cool characters, Tasu Leech, that are, in this little bounty hunter crew for the Unbroken Clan. So it's a really tragic moment because Valance is flying through space. He can't survive very long, right? But he is a cyborg, so you can give him that. With the jump pack, he's getting so close. Zuckuss reaches out a hand to Valance to bring him in, and next thing you know, his arm separates, and we look to see the next page, and it's because Vader literally used the Force to pull Valance back into the Executor. And the last page shows that Valance, his face has been completely repaired, his arms have been replaced, and he is now working apparently for Darth Vader. So that is where this issue leaves off for the last tie-in for Bounty Hunters, for War of the Bounty Hunters. We also have like a little bit of a story for the character General Vakor, who now is becoming the sole leader of the Unbroken Clan if she promises to join Qi'ra in Crimson Dawn, which she does agree to. So great issue. Big cliffhanger at the end there. I do like some little minor canon nods to the Scout Troopers from Fallen Order, where they have those cool electro batons, different kind of harness on top of their armor. Thought that was really cool. The Jump Troopers, again, really cool stuff there. But I love the artwork in this. I really like where this story is going and how the crew that's fronted by Tonga is going to deal with the absence of Valance. And if we see the variant cover for a future issue of Darth Vader, it had Valance with basically an Inferno Squadron patch on his arm. It's like, wait a second, what's going on here? So now things are starting to make sense now that, is Vader going to brainwash Valance? Is he going to reprogram Valance somehow to basically be subservient to him? Because we know that there was that Target Vader series, and that's where Valance was very big in that series. He was the one that fronted the team that was going to kill Vader. So there's definitely a history there, and I cannot wait to see and how this series has been doing so well intertwined with War of the Bounty Hunters. I feel like this is one of the better series that was able to tell its own story with the Unbroken Clan, with the heir to the Unbroken Clan and the Mourner's Wail, and how that was threaded throughout the series, and why Crimson Dawn wanted to really take that girl Kadalia out, the heir to that big underworld empire. So really happy with how Bounty Hunters tied in, and I can't wait to read, I guess, both Darth Vader now as well as the Bounty Hunters series. So getting into the final issue for War of the Bounty Hunters, and that is Star Wars issue number 18. And yes, that cover is actually accurate. We have a meeting between Leia and Qi'ra. Who would ever think, right? So setting things up, this is after the Battle of Jakara. We have the Falcon, we have Leia, we have Chewie, absolutely distraught. They think that they lost Han Solo and Carbonate. They didn't see that Boba Fett was able to rescue him. So they are down in the dumps. Leia has literally hit rock bottom. She says she has no hope. And for the person that is so strong and force-willed to get through the hardest situations, for her to actually come out and say that she has no hope means, wow, things are really serious right now. So what happens is they're flying around. Next thing you know, they get intercepted by Crimson Dawn, and Qi'ra asks to come aboard the Falcon, her prior vessel when she was with Han, with Lando, and there is that fateful meeting between Leia and Qi'ra, something that we did not expect to see, both lovers of Han at some point. So she asked to basically just have the room with Leia, and Leia is very obviously like upfront about like, no, I do not want to do this, has her at blaster point the entire time. And really just gives us a whole reasoning of the story behind War of the Bounty Hunters, what at least her motives were. It was like she didn't ever want Han to actually be at risk to being taken by the Empire. She always wanted Han to fall into the hands of the rebels. She was using him as leverage, and she was explaining that she always has a plan. Like nothing's ever for just the heck of it. Like there's always something that she wants out of it herself. So she's a little bit selfish in that regards. She talks about this prior story about Han Solo, about how he always has had good in him, even since they were on the streets of Corellia, scum rats working for, the different White Worms situation there, Lady Proxima, right? So it's a really cool, touching story there. And it is Qi'ra that does break the news to Leia that no, actually he is still surviving. Han Solo and Carbonite, she has spies, I guess, in Jabba's palace. Jabba actually has Han Solo and Carbonite on his wall. He's safe where he's at, and that's where Leia says, you know what, okay, if he's safe where he's at, I have to really get back to what's going on with the rebellion, with the fleets, and Commander Zara is doing crazy stuff with this whole like hyperspace tracking thing. So Qi'ra does actually offer her help. She says, look, I will help you when the time is right to get Han back. And that is the leverage that Qi'ra has really brilliantly put out there so that Leia doesn't actually get her in prison for the rebels, because obviously she's in a lot of trouble, but Leia can't actually put her away yet because she's going to have to rely on Qi'ra at some point in the future to get Han Solo out of Jabba's palace. And I'm very intrigued on what that could actually be, right? Because we don't know, obviously, in Return of Jedi, the Crimson Dawn was even a thing back then. Actually, 40 years? No, it wasn't a thing. So I'm going to be very interested to see how Charles Soule threads this storyline with Qi'ra still in the picture and now having actually met Leia. I wouldn't think something that big would have happened in the Star Wars comics. And there you go. The brilliant writing by Charles Soule, who is such an expert when it comes to writing known characters, even brand new characters in the High Republic. This guy knows his stuff, but this was such a strong outing for the Star Wars series. This is something that I was hoping would happen when they first announced War of the Bounty Hunters, and when we first seen Qi'ra, is like, there's got to be a confrontation between Leia and Qi'ra, and just the fact that they're still at odds with each other. Qi'ra seems like she's more welcoming, but Leia is definitely more standoffish, as she should be. This is a criminal warlord that she's dealing with. But the fact that they're connected with Han Solo is something very interesting, and I'm so curious to see if we ever get past Return of the Jedi. Let's say if she's ever in maybe a Book of Boba Fett, what would that look like to see actually like Leia, Han, and Qi'ra all together at once? That would be a trip for me. But that is going to do it for Star Wars issue number 18. That was called Collision Course, and we are going to, to continue in with December with Crimson Reign, and then after that with the Hidden Empire. So this is really just part 1 of 3 for Qi'ra's story, and this is, I guess, Hidden Empire could be as well between Empire and Return of the Jedi. So we'll see what that happens there. Crimson Reign is definitely in that same era that we're in currently, but overall, War of the Bounty Hunters, entertaining, but a little bit long-lived in the tooth. I think that this could have been just a simple miniseries and it would have been all right. The tie-ins, a lot of times, didn't give me enough momentum going forward. It felt like this was kind of like, piecemealed throughout as far as like, drip-fed to us a story week by week by week where there wasn't a lot of momentum. It started off strong. It definitely ended strong, but the middle area there was a little bit long for me, but I am very much looking forward to see how this is all going to shape up. It definitely puts in a lot of cool stuff with Crimson Dawn, which is going to be, I believe, beyond the pages of the comics. I feel like they did this specifically now because they're going to appear in Book of Boba Fett, because you have his, underworld. He's going to be dealing with another rival faction, probably, right? There's lots of rival factions going for Jabba's power. Wouldn't it be cool if Crimson Dawn showed up? So that is my outtake, my look on what is going on for the future of the Crimson Dawn, or how this could be important. But I want to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. What did you think of Bounty Hunters issue number 17, as well as Star Wars issue number 18, as well as War of the Bounty Hunters in the entirety? Did you read all the comics, just some of them? Let me know in the comment section down below. For more on Star Wars, I have a weekly podcast called Outer Rim Transmission. We go live every Friday around 9 o'clock Eastern, and the episodes are available after the fact to download on all your favorite streaming platforms for your audio listening pleasure. So that's going to do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always.
Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.